welcome back, everybody.
Welcome.
To the Against the Grain Talk Show. Today we have a special guest, Luke.
Luke is with us.
He is
what up?
The Force.
I want to say the better half, but the better looking half of Hypnotic.
Oh, got it, Micah. I know you're listening to this. Clip this.
Sorry,
one. Clip
Micah.
this.
I'll clip that and send it to him.
Clip it, chat. Clip it.
I got a thing for you still, Micah. Don't worry. But
Oh.
Luke's up there with you.
Is that why they call you Ghost?
Patrick Swayze.
Hey.
Oh.
For all the kids that are not going to get that reference.
Hey, Skywalker is with us today.
What up, G?
The Force be with us.
So we're gonna today we're gonna kind of talk about all the different things that are dividing Americans today, and what we might be able to do and or try to do to stop that.
First of all, pineapples on pizza. I'm just kidding.
Pineapple belongs on pizza. So anybody who thinks
I'm off the podcast.
I agree.
Wait, you don't?
I love pineapple pizza.
You don't like pineapple on podcast?
No, pineapple on pizza. No.
Yeah, no. We're talking about the real problems here in America right now.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just hijacking your show from random.
No,
stuff.
it's all good.
Yeah, man. But things are going a little crazy right now, man, and like it's nuts to me to sit here and watch us go from one type of segregation to another type of segregation, and go from having a separation of our citizens in one form to going back to it. It's like, didn't we just 60 years ago? It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, so this is one of those topics that frequently I stray away from, just because I feel like I haven't had the exposure to like what a black person has walked through in America, like a lot of other people have. For 20 years I was very, very sheltered, and it wasn't even necessarily specifically like from black people. It's just the community I was in just happened to be white. But I tend to stay away from this topic just because I feel like I have a lot of education to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Like that's one of the things that I think through regularly is like, we're not even talking about like this is a old history kind of thing. This isn't ancient history. This isn't the Egyptians that while they were building the pyramids, used a bunch of black slaves to build the pyramids. This is like our grandparents, kind of thing. And it's like, like it's weird to think of my grandparents as the ones that were, I mean, my grandparents didn't own any slaves or anything, but it was just from that era.
Right. That era of like, not, I wouldn't say extreme racism, but there was racism.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. And that's just the point, man. It's like, that's not where we're not trying to focus on that. It's just the fact to show that we went from enslaving a whole race of people to segregating a whole race of people to people finally opening up and admitting about racism and wanting to fix it.
Starting to come together.
And then boom, here comes this fucking man-made virus from these cronies, and they just up and create a virus. Right? The China virus, and they start killing off people.
Yeah.
And they separate us again. And it's just crazy to me that they talk about this, saying this vax. And then when Trump was talking about the vax, and he was like, oh, we're creating this vaccine, we're creating this, we're going to help the people. All of the Democrats, I have a video. Yeah. All of the Democrats were like, I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it. Oh, they rushed it. They did this. They did it in 4 months. How can they create a vaccine in 4 months? I wouldn't trust anything that Trump puts his name on. Hey, when we get the vaccine, we need to get it tested so we make sure that Trump's fingerprints aren't on it.
Yeah.
Like they were saying all this shit. Now we wake up today, guys, and they're saying that Joe Biden passed a mandate that any employer that has over 100 employees has to mandate vaccines for their entire company.
Or they have to get weekly tests. So the real mandates come in when you're talking about the healthcare workers at this point, and that there's not going to be a single healthcare worker allowed to continue working without getting a vaccine at this point.
And federal workers too. So the federal workers and the everybody in the within medicine and stuff like that all of them are mandatory to get it. So all of my homeboys are in the all of my brothers and sisters in the military right now are forced to get it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And like he said that there is no way to opt out if you are a federal employee. There is no way you can get out of it. Yeah. No religious background. Like your religion doesn't matter. Your health doesn't matter. They do not care. They don't care if you die. If you get the vaccine and you go to your doctor and say, hey, should I get the vaccine? They say, no, you shouldn't. If you're a federal employee, it doesn't matter. Your doctor's opinion and what you're going through, you could have had 3 heart attacks. It does not matter. They want you to get the vaccine. And if you die, it's just, okay, you just took that L and we'll bury you for very low budget. You know, so it's just like...
Okay, so do either of you... I don't know the answer to this question, so I'm asking you two, because I figure y'all probably know. Is Trump vaccinated or not?
Yes.
He is vaccinated?
He is vaccinated.
Okay, because I was...
Well, that's what they tell us.
Well, that's what he's come out and said, and he's actively encouraged people to go get the vaccine.
Right.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought, and I was talking to my wife about it earlier. I was like, yeah, Trump's vaccinated, and she's like, wait, I don't think he is. And I was like, he better be, because that was like a part of his success. That was like, hey, look, like we've never done this before, but I did this, you know, right before leaving office kind of thing.
Yeah. I can't say for 100%, but he actually just went on the Andrew Gutfield show on Fox.
Okay.
And he did an interview with him, and he again, and this was like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
He again was pushing that people go get vaccinated.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but he did also
himself.
say
Right.
yes, he is vaccinated.
Okay. Yeah.
See, this is what gets me, guys. Now, at the end of the day, we're all Americans here.
Oh,
right. We all have the right and the ability to live in this country freely, to do what we want within the law, right? Which we as citizens have to obey the law. Like there's no stepping outside of that box.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are all as Americans in a box, but we are free within this box, right? Because there's a set of rules. Like,
right.
you know,
that's basically for any society, though.
Right.
Unless we're talking about white collar crime, let's be honest.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. Right.
Yeah.
If we're talking about anything the politicians and shit are doing, then like, you know, of course that's not a crime because, you know, we have to admit
it's just slide a little money on the table and you walk away free from it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we all know that like our government is corrupt on every level. So that's why these politicians are not getting, like, that's why Anthony Fauci isn't in jail. There are emails that are proof that he's guilty, but because he is who he is and he has the pool that he has, he's not getting locked up. There's nothing being done to him. Hillary Clinton, she should be locked the fuck up too. Why is she not locked up? Because she has power. She has influence. These people are never going to ever face a day in jail. You know what I'm saying? So it blows my mind that we're being held accountable.
It's not just the Democrats either, because I mean, you look back at what George Bush did.
Oh yeah,
with the Patriot Act and everything like that. And I mean, there was so many different things that not only Republicans but also Democrats, when they're trying to grab power, that totally violate our Constitution in every single way. And it's been a slow process over the last, I'd say 40 to 60 years that they've slowly accumulated more and more power.
And they're not giving it back.
And it's just going to snowball from there.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of what we're beginning to see at this point is like that slow snowball that was going down the mountain is now becoming a huge boulder.
Right.
And it's gonna gain momentum, and that's why we're seeing these hard pushes from Biden now, where he's mandating vaccines, where he's mandating that people can't collect on their rent, and that totally goes against the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are people not seeing this?
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
And that's why I think people are kind of first of all, are we all in agreement that Edward Snowden is an American hero? Like
yes.
He is
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yes,
Cool.
absolutely.
All right. I would have got up and walked off. So
we need a statue.
Yeah. Edward Snowden should be like he should be taught in schools of like, this is how you give the double rods to the establishment. It doesn't matter. Like that is like, I mean, he's an American hero.
The interviews that I've seen with him, just like the way that he talks,
he's weird.
He's very weird.
Yeah. He's different.
He's super secretive too. Like with everything that he does and everything, like even now, because he's hiding out in like Russia or something like that now.
Yeah.
So Putin's best friend.
Bro, they're looking for him, bro.
Leave me alone.
They're looking for him. He knows. He knows.
But so back to what you were saying, I just had to clarify that or whatever. But back to what you were saying about the masks and the snowball of control and things that people have been like, the government government's been taking control for years. We know this.
Facts.
Everybody knows it.
Slowly but surely.
Red, blue in the middle, doesn't matter. Everybody knows it. And everybody knows that once they take that control, they're not giving it back. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of certain people. Like if you're voting very far left, you're saying, hey, I know you're taking this control and you won't give it back, but I want you to have this control. And if you're voting very far red, like if you're still a fan of George W. Bush, for example, then you're the person that's going, hey, I want you to have this kind of control, and I know you're never going to give it back. I want you to be able to monitor my cell phones if you deem it,
right.
Worthy or whatever. But this is where I feel like we're all in agreement, but I feel like a lot of things have gotten lost in the translation of that, though, because you get these mask mandates and vaccine mandates, right? And you have you have like the government mandates, right? Which Joe Biden saying every company bigger than 100 employees needs to is going to mandate vaccines for everybody. That's bullshit. For one, it's
absolutely
Joe Biden. It's come from Joe Biden. But there was a time that like medical secrecy was a thing. Mm-hmm. Like I had friends who were EMTs and nurses, whatever, all forms of that. And like even mentioning, not naming a name, but even mentioning something like, oh yeah, I was at a car accident, and responded to this call, and there was like this person had broken like that, they could have gotten sued and their license pulled for.
When I went through EMT training, the HIPAA laws that you have to abide by, they're insane. But like you were saying, strict. They told us straight up, like if you are talking about, like say if you go to a car accident, and that was one of the examples they brought up, and say you're talking out in public about it, and it just so happens that somebody sitting next to you in that same restaurant knows that person that happened to, that's a violation of HIPAA law, and you could be sued for that.
And that story's happened before.
Yeah.
But,
absolutely.
But I just like this is where I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and this conversation is going in a direction because of how like I have had conversations with you or seen conversations like on Facebook or whatever.
All right, cool.
I'm playing devil's advocate. Right. I don't necessarily like, but anyway. So the idea. Okay, so like let's say HEB goes, okay, you know what, we're giving up.
Why do we gotta use HEB though? I love them.
Yeah, we're just saying HEB. Okay. I love HEB too. But this is things.
Walmart.
It's gotta. Yeah, no. It's got to be close to home. It's got to be HEB.
All right.
So HEB says, okay, we're giving up. This Delta strain is killer. We're mandating masks for our customers again.
Right.
Do you go there? Do you not? Do you be a dick about it? Do you not?
So here, I struggle with this because when it comes down to it, I'm way more of a libertarian when it comes down to it. So I think the company should have the right to do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. If they want to tell a certain person that they can't come in due to a way that they dress or to a way that they look, whether it be even like with racism and stuff like that. Like if they don't want to serve to black people, I feel like that business should have the right to do that, and it shouldn't be the government's place to tell that person what to do, and it should just be brought out into the open market.
Yeah,
and that's where that battle should be fought, not on the government platform.
Yep,
true.
Okay, so now let's take it a step further. Greg Abbott goes, "Hey, I'm mandating that the government can't mandate masks."
Yeah, so, and that I have a problem with too.
That businesses can't mandate masks or vaccines or whatever tests.
And I was thinking about this today after I heard about what Joe Biden was doing, when he said that, okay, yeah, so we're gonna put into place that the Department of not workers, but whatever that's called, the Department of Labor is going to enforce this rule where any company over 100 has to be mandated to either vaccinate their employees or they will have to do weekly testing. And in my mind, that's a violation of the company's right to decide what they want to do. Mm-hmm. Same as if Abbott says, okay, we can't mandate this or we're going to mandate that companies can't mandate.
Right.
So I have a problem with both sides of it. But when it comes down to it, I think I would have to err on the side of more freedom for the people, which would stop the companies from being able to do that. So when it comes to medical stuff,
right?
Yeah. So and then here's where we get into the area that I'm not entirely sure yet, because it's like, okay, so let's have federal government here, let's have state government here, let's have private business here, let's have private parties like you and I here, right? Like, so obviously we're all in agreement. Federal level, They should not be allowed to mandate anything like that.
Right.
Vaccines, masks, whatever.
It's our body.
Yeah, our body, our choice, which is we can get to that conversation if we want to.
I got some talking points on that. Or just the way that I view that, but go ahead.
Sure. So there's that conversation. There's the state conversation, which I think Greg Abbott should, again, get the fuck out. That probably is going to have to get edited out. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
But like
we can leave cuss words in there. We try to keep it.
Okay.
I drop F-bombs
all the
time. So he shouldn't be allowed to tell HEB or Walmart or whoever. He shouldn't be allowed to tell them that they can't mandate masks or vaccines or whatever. However, when it gets to this us versus Walmart, us versus HEB, let's say we're employees, let's say we're customers. Let's talk about both sides. If we're customers, HEB and Walmart, it's none of your business whether we're vaccinated. Nothing about our medical history is
right.
There is, right?
True.
If we're employees of a company, it could be anything too. It could be Baker Hughes, whatever. It doesn't have to be a grocery store. If we're an employee of the company and they say, hey, we're going to mandate these things, like how is that in unison or in conflict with HIPAA laws,
I don't know what the full answer to that is. I haven't delved too much into what companies can and cannot require their employees to disclose to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that would be a violation of HIPAA laws, or even if that would can be considered under like medical discrimination. Because I know there are laws against that, but when you're talking about whether or not it's the business of the store owner to see whether or not the patrons coming in are vaccinated or not, I absolutely 100% agree. They should not be able to say, okay, you got to show me a medical card in order to be at my business.
Right.
But again, it kind of goes back to that same thing: is where do you draw that line? Because like I said, I do tend to lean more libertarian, so I'm like, where do I draw that line? And it's really, I've been struggling with it a little bit on trying to figure out where I am actually going to draw that line, and where I say, okay, that's too much authority to a monopoly like Walmart or like Amazon or something like that.
Right.
So I don't know where I would draw that line exactly, and this is such a new thing too,
right?
Because we've never had to deal with something like this.
Well, so let me try to take it a little bit further in the parallel of like the EMTs and paramedics. Like those companies, Cypress Creek EMS or whatever, that's a private company.
Yeah,
that's not a government company. That's not a city company. That's not a state company. It's a private company. Right. Either of you could go start an EMS company if you wanted.
True, that is true.
And so, to a certain extent, it's like, okay, like if they're not allowed to talk about, car wrecks that they respond to, then how is, Baker Hughes allowed to ask employees about their vaccination status?
True,
right.
True. I just think, man, at this point, I just think it's all about respect, bro. I think it's really, if someone has a health issue, it's no one's business. Like no one should be able to demand that someone shares their private information, period. Right? Now, if we think about this and we let the federal government say they can mandate this, right? They can mandate vaccines, that everyone has to have vaccines. They can mandate that government, that anyone that has over 100 employees force all of their employees to get vaccinated, right? And then, you have the private, the individuals like ourselves saying, someone who gets vaccinated saying, you should get vaccinated and I don't want to hear anything else about it. We all should be vaccinated. Dude, this whole vaccine thing and this whole thing with the virus, it's fear, bro. And fear is a dangerous monster. And a lot of these people out here in America are scared of the dark that the government has put them in.
Yeah.
So
you see it in most civilizations where there's been a sweeping authoritarian or dictatorship that's swept through and taken control of whatever civilization, that most of the time they do use fear tactics in order to control the population.
Right.
So if you got a bunch of people out there that aren't afraid of the government,
right?
Like we used to be, like we weren't whenever we had founded this country,
right?
We weren't afraid of Britain.
No,
we fought them.
We're about that smoke.
We said we're done,
and I think that there are a lot of people out here now. There's a lot of veterans. There's a lot of people that love their country. There's a lot of people that love their freedom. They don't want that, bro. Like, I see a lot of this stuff going on. I see a lot of these things. Dude, I've been to war. People don't want that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, people are all about this whole Civil War thing, bro. I've seen it, bro. I've been in there.
Or they'll be talking about, oh, I wish apocalypse would happen or something like that.
Like, dude, people wouldn't survive.
Yeah.
Dude, I've served with soldiers that went through basic and everything. And when we got over there and the shit got real, they weren't tough anymore, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, people out here saying, oh, you know, you need to get a vaccine. You don't have a choice. You need to do this. It should be mandated. Dude, if the Civil War pops off, are y'all still going to be talking that? Are y'all going to line up against people like myself who are going to fight for their freedoms, look me in my eyes, and tell me I have to get a vaccine or I can't feed my family? Come on, bro. If this country gets to the point where people have to survive and we have to figure it out, are you really willing to let our country go down a road where a man like me has to feed my family and I have to pick between someone else eating and me eating? A lot of y'all ain't gonna survive, bro. What are you gonna do? And people say, oh, I got a gun and this. When it comes to survival tactics and it comes to us, like, and everything's going to shit, that's what we're talking about, people. Like, they say it's mandatory this. Everyone has to get a vaccine. You can't go nowhere without a mask. And it's a separation between people who want to get in and people who don't, bro. It's not going to be even a fight against, because think about the people, most of the people who are getting the vaccines and stuff, they're all overweight. They're all got health issues. Majority of them that have been in COVID, that have gotten, like 70% of people that have died from COVID and gotten really, really sick from COVID, been hospitalized and all that, have been obese. So you're telling me that the majority of 70% of people that are getting COVID, we're about to go into a civil war of some sort, and that's who we're fighting? Bro, they're not even going to be able to run across the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that we should probably distinguish people who are getting the vaccine and people who feel like the vaccine should be mandated, because I know lots of people that got the vaccine and they wouldn't dare tell me I need to go to get the vaccine.
Yeah,
but I'm also curious. Yeah, but I'm also curious. Where's your line? Like, when it comes down to it, where is your line that's drawn where you go, okay, well, if it's you versus me, I'm picking my family.
Right.
Like, where is that?
My line for me is when my resources start getting affected. When I can no longer go to a grocery store to get water and food for my babies and my wife, that's when it's going to get ugly, right? When they're telling me that I can't go and enjoy my time with my family, we can't go out, we can't go to parks, we can't go to amusement parks, we can't go and live our life because I'm not getting a needle in my arm, get ready, bro. Get ready. Like, I'm not going to play that. And there are a lot of people that agree with just how I am. And when people think that the BLM riots were bad, they thought that was bad. They thought that was bad. I sat at home for that. But if we go and get riots, and we have to go into the streets to fight for our rights not to get vaccinated, like, dude, I'm not gonna be in downtown Houston or downtown Dallas chanting freedom, bro. Anyone who against me and anyone standing in front of me would be the enemy.
Change the landscape.
Yeah, it would be something way different. Yeah, you know. So like, I just want people to think about that.
I don't think so. I kind of think that we're in a civil war of types right now.
Mm-hmm. Info war.
Yeah. So I don't think that the type of war that's going to be played out in America at this point is going to be any sort of kinetic war. Meaning, I don't think that it's going to be fought with fist or guns or something like that. Like, most right now, not. The most powerful weapon is, I think, social media.
Yes,
social media and just like information in itself. So what we're experiencing right now with Facebook and with Twitter and with the news outlets and the labels of misinformation that we get every single time that we try to post an opinion or post, something that we found research wise, that's labeled as misinformation or it's fact checked. I think that's where the real war is being raged right now. I don't think that over the last 20 years, social media has helped us as much as we think.
Yeah, oh, definitely not.
I think it's been more of a hindrance as far as bringing people together than it has actually brought people together.
I would say recently, yes. Like recently as in past few years. Like not recently as in since 2020. But it's because the algorithm has gotten too good. Yeah. The algorithm has found out that outrage is what sells. Outrage is what keeps people's attention. Outrage is what gets people looking at ads.
Facts.
Right. And so their algorithm has gotten good enough to try to find that outrage for people.
So kind of playing on that too, though, and that's kind of what happened, early 2000s is, you'd see when social media and when like YouTube and everything started, when you'd see an article written like, oh, this person was racist or something like that. And it would get a bunch of clicks, right? Mm-hmm. And then they write another article. Well, this person was
because you didn't know many racist people personally.
So, but then they would say, okay, well, this person was sexist, and that got a bunch of quick clicks. Oh.
Sorry, that's my phone.
Oh, okay, and that would get a bunch of clicks. And then they were like, oh, what if we combine them? Like, what if we did a racist, sexist? And then and then it just blew up. And that's how they've been able to promote these stories and get people engaged because
they have the numbers, bro. They know exactly what hits, bro, because they have the analytics.
Yep.
Yeah, at this point, the mass data that they've got, they can pretty much predict what any of us would be interested in, and that's what they're doing. Every time we pull up the app, they're going, hey, Devin's interested in this. Jarvis is interested in this. Luke's interested in this.
Sometimes it tells me stuff that I'm interested in that I didn't know I was interested in. I'm
right, exactly.
Man, we could be talking about that, and I'll go through my Instagram. It's like, damn, how you know I was looking for a baby stroller wagon?
Yeah. No, exactly. So my boss, I work in a marketing firm for context, and my boss recently downloaded TikTok because it was like a research kind of thing. He's like, okay, like this is obviously a very valid social media.
Right.
Like, how could this be beneficial for us to know? That way we can, work our clients through it and stuff like this. And he's like, man, he was like sitting here like recently after he had downloaded, he's like, man, TikTok just a bunch of snake videos. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Snake?
What's like? It's like, yeah, all you see is snake videos. And I'm like, Kevin, you must like snake videos. Like TikTok it's like the compass from Pirates of the Caribbean. It just shows you what you like. You're watching snake videos, it shows you more snake videos. And it's like, oh, I guess I do like snake videos.
It's so crazy how like
it's accurate.
Intuitive that social media has become.
It's accurate.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, though, I feel like it's been a huge detriment on society itself, to the point where you're seeing all these Gen Zers, right? Yeah. They're coming on and they're getting on these platforms.
Dude, I love Gen Z, by the way. So be careful what you say.
I was just gonna say, they're the most connected, like of all the generations,
and the most depressed and lonely.
Yeah.
Like the statistics show
more
out
drugs than anybody.
So like, where is the disconnect? If you're able to be with your friends and everything on social media, and you're getting that connection, why are they so depressed? Why are they turning out more alcoholics, more drug addicts? Like,
it's because it's because, bro, they're getting further and further away from reality. Social media provides you with the ability to be something that you're not really all the time. Like, have you ever seen somebody on social media and finally see them in person? They're 90% of the time when I see someone in person after I meet them on social media or something, they are not the same person.
I am 100% real on social media. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
What you see on social media is what you get from me in real life, bro. Like, that's why I fuck with Ghost, though, because he's 100% real all the time, and like you can tell his height from social media and stuff. He's 100.
I got like 100 followers. It's great.
Listen, I follow him.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is your support group, Devin.
Appreciate it.
I mean, your followers.
I like all of his posts. But you know what? I did want to think about the fact that, like, bringing talking on what you're saying about social media is like, man, like, it really, really is hurting the younger generation because they're them being I guess I could say like them being, you know, I don't want to say relative, but you know, them being you know, liked and you know, popular, and you know they're being like, they're just trying to be, what word am I looking for? They're trying to be relevant. There we go.
Relevant.
They want to be relevant and stuff. And they see these people on social media living these fake lives, posting the pictures with angles and Photoshop, and like you can get apps and shit where you can take a picture and put abs on you, or
rent a supercar and have your Rolex watch
exactly.
on the you know?
Dude, like all of this different stuff, like the filters that make your skin perfect. So when they finally see themselves in the real mirror, they're like, I'm not perfect. I don't look like this, so let me cake makeup on my face. Let me go and take all these steroids so I can look like these bodybuilders on. And like, dude,
not
no.
Me.
You know, like
keeping it 100 always.
Always. So, but
the dad bod going on.
But that's where it is, though, bro. Like a lot of people are just in the point where they just don't see that they are perfect just the way they are, bro. Like, and I don't feel that we are enough, like letting people know that they are perfect as the person that they are, not the person that you see on social media. So I feel like we should break off a little from social media sometimes and actually go and meet with your friends. Like, go and share a real joke. Go and fucking take a picture for real with your people, you know? Or just put the fucking phone down and enjoy the game. Enjoy the party. Enjoy, like, everyone's always on their damn phone trying to capture the moment. You're like, you see people at football games, they're recording it on their phone. They don't even actually see the game.
Yeah.
Or they watch the Jumbotron. They never even see the real people. They're so stuck on the screen all the time. Everywhere you go to a football game, they got a Jumbotron that's just the size of the football field.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man, it's just one of those crazy things, man. But at the end of the day, social media has done a lot of things that have brought some negativity. And, you know, with this whole COVID thing, like, it's put us against each other because of certain things that we post or certain views that we have. But at the end of the day, if you choose to get vaccinated, the unvaccinated people, we respect that, right? And if you don't want to get vaccinated, then the vaccinated people need to respect that. Everyone should respect everyone else's choices. You shouldn't force someone to do something just because you feel a certain type of way, or because you're scared, or because you believe what someone else said, or some science, or whatever it may be. We're Americans, man. Like, we need to stop fighting each other and letting these politicians separate us because they're going against each other. That has nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? So we should all just support each other. And regardless if anyone gets vaccinated or not, we should be able to live our lives, you know, and we should just see, because shit, at the end of the day, in 1 to 2 years, we're going to see who's living, right? If you're vaccinated and you think all the unvaxxed people are going to die, let them die. If you're unvaccinated and you think the vaccinated people are going to die off, don't try to waste your time trying to convince them not to get the vaccine. Let them make their decision. Whoever dies off, dies off. But at the end of the day, we need to stop going against each other and hold these politicians accountable for what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, Anthony Fauci killed millions of people.
Yeah, so I kind of want to challenge a couple of those things too. So how many people do you know that are vaccinated?
A lot.
Right. How many of them have ever tried to cross you about your vaccination status?
Nothing, because I slapped their ass.
Right, exactly. Like, the people that we know, our neighbors, our friends, our family, whoever.
I wouldn't do that.
They don't.
So I'll say there have been several people that I know that have gotten the vaccine that have challenged me.
Not challenge you in discussion, like, okay, like the vaccine is valid.
Straight up like unfriended me.
Yeah.
And stopped talking to me.
Yeah, but that's not really a, hey, Devin, go get vaccinated. It's just like, hey, Devin, I think you're stupid and I'm out. Like, and who cares if they think that, right?
No, I don't care.
But I'm talking about, like, have you ever met somebody that was vaccinated and it's like, Devin, if you're not getting vaccinated, you're what's wrong with the world. You are the reason that people are dying. Have you met those people?
Yes, I have. I have a lot of those on social media.
I've had a couple of.
Okay,
I can show you. I can
in person.
Yeah. What? Oh shit. No.
So I have people that I know well that have told me that, and they don't talk to me anymore. They didn't tell me to my face. They told me over messages or whatnot.
As you would expect. But people that you know in person that theoretically you go visit.
The people that I mess with on a normal basis, no. Not a single one of them.
Not at all. Not at all. I've never had nobody in person. Everything that's ever been said to me negatively about my choices about not getting the vaccine has all been online because they know better.
Right. Well, so here we're back to this social media concept, right? Of like, hey, they're selling. No, you're good. they're selling outrage, okay? And like you talked about, Gen Z wanting to be relevant and stuff, and so they get into all these drugs and stuff because they're trying to cope with not being relevant and these things.
Yes.
None of these things that we're talking about are new problems. They're just
Facts.
They have a different face right now.
They're just being exposed more because of social media.
Right. So when you were in high school, prior to like TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and all these where everything was.
I was the first Facebooker. I was on
Exactly.
Hey, I was on MySpace.
I had a MySpace.
Hey, if you're looking for me on MySpace, it's JVZ.
Mine got disconnected.
What?
Yeah, because I guess I didn't log into it. Like,
you didn't update your top 8 friends.
And so Tom, he took me off.
Yo,
Tom was everybody's friend.
Bro, I actually follow Tom on Instagram.
No shit,
he's still
on there?
relevant, bro. He got like 1 million followers. He's like a check mark and everything. He's super dope.
See, you're over here pushing this whole relevance thing. You're over here like, Tom Henderson's still relevant. All these kids just cringe and they're like, why am I not relevant?
But he's like a super positive.
Well, because
like,
Tom is such a better guy than anybody else.
He's like a positive influence too, bro. Like he's a real positive influence. Like
I don't know anything about him.
He's really like he posts a lot of stuff about motivation and like how to how to achieve your dreams and like
how to not fail after 5-year wait.
Right. He should be like but he's a but he's like a multi-millionaire, bro. Like he
totally
MySpace like made him stupid money. He was like the original. He's the original social media, bro.
He's the original Zuckerberg.
He's the original.
Okay, but so social media sells outrage, right?
Yes.
None of these things are new, right? So when you're in, junior high school, you're coming up, when all these things start to become important to you, you didn't have Instagram on a smartphone. You didn't have smartphones. You didn't have Instagram. None of that was there. It was what you could see. So the kids at your school, there
smoking in the bathroom.
Yeah, there was the relevant crowd. There was the not relevant crowd. There was the mass. And then within all of these, there were subcategories of the jocks, the nerds, the cool kids, all this, that, and all these different categories. It's all the same on social media, but it's scaled
way bigger
worldwide.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And so the homie 16-year-old in Temple, Texas is looking at the teenager that grew up in LA because his dad founded a company in Silicon Valley in the 90s or whatever, and it's he's not a household name, but he's got money, more money than he knows what to do with. So these guys that are like kids or whatever that are in just a whole other world, are watching these people over here and going, hey, why doesn't my life look like that?
Right.
And the same thing happened to you guys, not me because I was homeschooled. Were you homeschooled?
Yeah, I was homeschooled.
Yeah, you were homeschooled. Okay, so I
was in public school.
Okay,
yeah, I didn't get homeschooled.
Respect. So
no respect.
I'm not going to get into homeschool because I don't have many good things to say about it. But
we could have a debate about that another time.
At least my homeschooling, I can't. That might need to get out later. I'm not trying to make anybody cry. But anyway, but you had the person sitting in the class with you across the way, 3 or 4 desks down, and it's like, wow, like. Why doesn't my dad work for an oil and gas company, or whatever? I don't know.
I used to always think like, dude, why do these kids get to go out and drink and smoke and party all day and they come and make 100 on the test and they ain't even fucking study and I'm over here struggling.
Right. And now the kids that you're watching doing that, or they're watching, the current kids are watching, are popping Xanax, going
bars, raves and shit.
Yeah.
Doing more drugs.
Like, what's that, Coachella or whatever?
Coachella.
Yeah,
just going to Coachella.
They're popping Xannies at Coachella and stuff, and they're like, oh, man, why doesn't my life look like Xanax and Coachella,
Exactly.
And you're over here like, why doesn't my life look like drinking and smoking? Right. So, like, contextually, it's the same problem, but it's a much bigger deal.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as algorithms do, they learn. And they get better, and they know how to sell outrage. The draw to that is the mystery of, oh, what is that lifestyle like? I'm not like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But if you were in that lifestyle, you'd know, that kid's over there thinking, man. And I don't know what your family life is like, but I'm just using, man, Jarvis, he's got a stable family. Why doesn't my family look like that? You know, now I'm going to go drink my pain away kind of thing. You know, it's the same problem, different mechanism of coping or whatever, you know? And so, but anyway, but just social media just sells that.
Yeah.
They're in the business of just selling that.
That's it. That's it. And then you think about it, man, it's like most people are emotional. Like they're attached to emotion, right? So they're attached to things that make them feel a certain way. Like a lot of kids, for me, instance, music was a really, really big part of my life. You know what I'm saying? So me growing up wasn't a positive thing, right? There wasn't a lot of positivity in my childhood, right? But as I started growing up, you know, I did start questioning, like, man, like this kid is such a bad kid. He's talked to his parents crazy. He disrespects his parents. Why does his parents love him so much and my parents treat me like this? Or why does this kid so bad and his parents buys him Jordans and Nikes and I'm the best kid ever and I'm in Pro Wings from Payless and I'm wearing thrift store clothes and, you know, I have holes in my shoes. And, you know, it's just like I used to always raise these questions. But like you said, it was on such a small scale because I just saw what I could see, right, in my city, in my school. Yeah. Now these kids are like wondering what someone in Rome is wearing and why they get to have that, and they live in a certain point in the world. It's like it's so much bigger than just our small time, you know, but let alone it was still going on, like you said, you know, just like a lot of the problems that we have now in the country. This stuff has always been there. It's just being exposed now because social media has made, you know, social media in the internet has made information so, you know, so easy to get now.
So what's the solution to that, though? Because, I mean, we both have kids growing up now. Right. Luke, I don't know if you have any on the way. But
I have 7 kids, all on the way right now. Same wife. No.
She's having a litter or what? Man.
It's a cat.
But, like, how do you navigate that space at this point?
Yeah.
Because, you know, the worst, well, at least me, my oldest is she just turned 10. So she's starting to get into that age where I was when I was younger, where I started getting into social media. Mm-hmm. Where do you draw the line, or where would you allow that kind of environment to start influencing your kids? Because I don't want to have them so sheltered to where they don't know what the outside world is like. Facts. But at the same point, there's absolutely, in my mind, zero benefit to having a social media account unless you're using it for like influential reasons.
Right.
I mean, there's really, I guess I could see a few instances where, you know, just connections with family and stuff, which is what we used to use it as.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like, oh, you have a grandma over in Tennessee, or you have a grandpa that lives up in Arkansas or something like that. Then they could get on and they could be a part of your everyday life.
Absolutely.
But it's turned into such a toxic environment now that is it even
grandma's
safe?
Fighting with you over vaccine status.
Yeah,
it's like,
grandma's like, why are you posting that? Like, what?
But it's like, it's such a toxic environment. Is it worth kids learning about that at this point, or do you wait until they're about to go out into the world and you just have conversations with them like as they're growing up and be like, you know, this is the reason why we don't feel like it's beneficial to be on this platform doing these things. And, you know, when you get to a certain age, you know, that'll be your decision to do, but just know this is the baggage that comes with it.
Right. Every kid's personality is different. And just like we all know that. And as adults, looking back at our former selves, like our little, you know, being little kids and stuff, like me, for instance, where I grew up in the hood, right? Dude, before, you know, I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. Like the first time I drank, I was in college. You know what I'm saying? Like I never tasted liquor before that. Never cared to drink alcohol. Never cared to party, right? Didn't do drugs, right? And then I found out about weed. I was like, that's not a drug. It's amazing, right? Right? So, but at the end of the day, man, I sit here and I look and I realized that like me, I was one of the different type of people, man. Like growing up in the hood, like all of my friends smoked, they partied, they wanted to do dumb shit. Like me, I saw the winos, I saw the crackheads. I'm like, hell no. Where your teeth at?
That was a deterrent enough.
Like I saw one boo-booing outside once, and that just scarred me for life. I was just like, I don't want to boo-boo outside.
I'll take you out to cut and shoot sometime, not a tooth in sight.
I actually have a sister that lives in cut and shoot.
Right. But
So far, they
I
have
saw
teeth.
those things, bro. Like my parents didn't have to tell me not to do drugs. All I had to do was walk to school.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, bro, like boo-booing outside was like the no-go for me, bro. Like I wouldn't touch anything that would remotely be, illegal or whatever. Like shit, if they had it, I'm like, bro, y'all finna be shitting together in the penitentiary. Like, hell no. I need, like as you can tell, boo-booing is a really, really private thing for me. So it helped me. Like y'all laughing, but it really kept me out of trouble when I was a kid.
Call it
Whatever motivates you, man.
Right? But at the end of the day, man, like I've learned though that there was a lot of things that I wish my parents would have prepared me for and they would have talked to me about. So like, I don't really truly believe like hiding stuff from your kids is the way to go. But I do feel like having those conversations and opening those doors so your kid learns from you instead of learning from the world. Now that's where we get fucked up.
Yeah.
Where we allow because like the only thing that strict parents creates is the ability for your kid to learn how to lie and hide stuff.
Right.
So I understand there should be some kind of strict, there should be rules and you should have some kind of things like that for your child.
There's got to be structure.
There has to be structure, bro. But you can't be in the point where you're locking your kid in a house and bro, they're going to...
Hey,
they're gonna find out.
I was that kid.
Yeah.
So I can speak on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I was the locked in the house kid. So yeah. Okay. How do you teach a kid to swim? Right.
Right.
You start off like, hey, grab the wall and work down the wall in the pool.
Yeah.
You start off small.
I just threw my kids in. What are you talking about?
Straight in.
Yeah,
Life
and then
jacket.
you better be willing to
Sink
like
or swim.
give them CPR,
Right.
And it's the same kind of concept. And yeah, different kid, like every kid has a different personality. Some kids instantly they pick up, oh yeah, if I move my hands like this and kick my feet, then man, I'm gonna go across the pool and it's no big deal. I love it. It's awesome. And then other kids are like, look, something about the cold sensation just freaks me the hell out and I freeze up and I don't know how to do anything and I just sink and that's all. And so I'm terrified of water.
The water make my skin itchy.
Right. Water makes my skin itchy. Yeah. And so, and it's the same kind of concept. It's like, it's being present, right?
Yeah.
Like, and everybody, like, I don't have any kids, so like, I'm, not preaching at anybody. I assume you're both present parents.
Yeah.
But anyway, but like being present is like, okay, like if you are introducing, like if you're kind of pulling the shelter away just a little bit so they get a glimpse of something and then it breaks them down. Okay, so we're going to rebuild you now and you're going to come back stronger and then I'll pull the shelter back a little bit more. And then you gradually do this and by the time they hit like 18, and so they're becoming an adult and they're off on their own.
Around it.
Then it's like, hey, look, you're callous enough to the shit that's out there that you're going to be fine now. You're smart. You've got your street smarts. You've got your book smarts. You've got your everything.
Right.
You're good to go. You can handle this. And you're still probably going to get knocked down from time to time, but it's okay. Ultimately, you have your parent support system still here.
Yeah. That's what that, and I love Dr. Seuss, and I read Dr. Seuss to my kids all the time, but all the places you'll go.
Yeah.
That phrase that you said where you'll get knocked down, that's part of that book is where, sometimes you'll go through rough spots and sometimes you won't. It speaks so heavily to children, and children are so malleable too, that it really is something that you need to start at an early age, kind of exposing them to certain things. Like, and I'll say for like my kids, like I'm not always the best when it comes to like my language or something like that. But they know,
not at all.
like
I don't even believe that there is bad words.
I don't either.
but like so every once in a while, like something will slip out. I'm flawed. But something will slip out, but I've taught my kids enough to know that we don't repeat what Daddy says sometimes.
Yes.
Like Daddy makes mistakes, and we don't repeat what Daddy says. These are not nice things to say sometimes.
Yeah, but it's character building.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
right.
but to shelter them from something like that, because I've known parents or known people that were sheltered to the point where they didn't do any curse word. Like when they would censor every single movie that they saw. Like
I would get in trouble for calling people a liar.
Really?
Yeah.
See, idiot was the big one in our house.
Idiot was bad. Shut up was bad.
Yep.
Butt was bad.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bad stuff when I was a kid. So you say you grew up in the hood?
Yeah.
I grew up in whatever the opposite of that was. Whatever. And so how I learned to swim was I, became adulting age, and I wasn't even thrown into the pool. I was just like, there's a pool here, and I'm supposed to I'm going to get in the pool. And then, took a few years of like almost drowning and stuff. I feel like I'm kind of figuring things out, but I am not the most like adult certified person, you know? And
what do you mean by adult certified?
I just mean like there are things that like there are regular things that regular adults are like, oh yeah, that's innate, that's intuitive. Like I already know this. I'm to the point.
Okay.
Whereas I'm over here, I'm like I'll have like random information stored away. Like some adult might know the parabola of how to get the parabola of the triangle and some bullshit like some.
Not me.
I don't have a college degree. I've done poorly in school my whole life, but it's like okay, like you want to talk about legal entities and taxes and stuff like that. It's like I can have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
But like the average adult then doesn't, and so it's like this weird disconnect between me and the average adult because it's like, hey, I know that if you have a business, there's a lot of things that you can do through that business and save yourself a ton of money in taxes, as long as that business is making revenue or whatever. And that's how all the global elites are getting so rich, is because they're not paying taxes because it's legal. And so I'm like, hey, if it's legal, do it. Use that system to your advantage, just like they're doing or whatever. And this person's like, oh, I get up at 5 a.m. every morning and I go to my job that pays 6 figures. I'm like, hey, that's great. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to get up at 5 a.m.
Right.
And so
no alarm in the world will help you.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
Hey, man. Hey, that old Surge alarm with Surge that had the alarm clock, that thing was nuts. That would have woke you up.
What Surge alarm? What are you talking about?
Y'all remember that drink?
Surge.
Okay,
yeah.
It used to be like a Mountain Dew, but they took it off the market because it was like shrinking penises.
Okay, I was about to ask you.
Like Four Locos or something.
I was about to ask you if you actually heard that.
Time, Maggie.
So that was back before like the internet was super prevalent, and that rumor somehow spread through every nook and cranny of society.
Wow.
And I have no idea how it spread.
Were you a Surge drinker? I loved Surge. I loved it. I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, it's amazing.
Average at best.
Average at best, he said. You just doxed yourself, bro.
I have a great personality.
Your 100 followers on Instagram.
I'm telling you, all of them like to laugh.
It's Ron. I always go back to Ron White anytime there's like those kind of jokes. I'm like, he said it may not work like a. How did he say it? He said his thing is like a cheese wheel. He said it may not touch bottom, but it'll stretch out the edges. I'm like,
it's not about the size of the boat; it's about the motion in the ocean.
I've also heard that it looks like a needle, but works like a sewing machine.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This podcast got NSFW real
way
quick.
down, way fast, but
yeah, man. But that's the
But it kind of goes back to that when you talk about the surge and how information used to travel.
Yeah,
that's the other thing that drives me crazy, and I don't know how to navigate it because I mean we can be over here in Texas and we can hear almost instantly about something happening in China.
Right.
Oh my God.
But then it's like, once again though, I have friends in other countries. Like when I post stuff, they're like, bro, they're not showing us this. Like I have friends in Australia saying like, dude, Jarvis, I've never seen this. I have friends in London right now and they're saying, dude, Jarvis, like, did you hear about this? They're sending me stuff where I'm like, dude, we didn't see that.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff happening over there where they're fighting against the government and stuff. They're not really showing that here.
That makes it really hard to navigate, especially when we live in a culture right now that we are where there's so much quote disinformation and misinformation. It's really hard to parse out what's real and what's being extremified.
Facts. Like when COVID first hit, and they were literally showing videos on a regular basis of people being thrown, like dead bodies being thrown in the back of 18-wheelers, being thrown into unmasked graves.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, how is it possible for places and people like CNN and all of these news to be sharing fake news. Like, bro, they were showing like people like in New York. I had friends in New York at that time.
Buy it.
Yeah, and they were showing like they were saying New York is being overrun with dead bodies and people are. Dude, someone walked in the video. They walked to that hospital and it was a ghost town.
Really?
How in the world were they allowed to post that to fearmonger people and no one calls them out on their shit?
Okay, so similar thing happened recently, CNN specifically. So Joe Rogan, Mr. Like, hey, I'm being real dismissive of vaccines, and it's just not even really dismissive. His take has always been like, hey, like
talk to your doctor.
Yeah, talk to your doctor. Doctor, if you're overweight, probably get the vaccine, but also probably step on a treadmill.
Yeah,
right. And he's like such a health advocate too.
Yeah, that's his thing. And his whole thing is just like, hey, like you're not being told the whole story. Vaccine is not your only option. In fact, I'm going to try to get off that rabbit trail. Let's stay on the topic. So Joe Rogan gets COVID. So all these people are like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, fuck Joe. There I go again.
You're fine. You're fine.
Joe Rogan, he should die because he's a anti-vaxxer or whatever.
Yeah, he's pushing
misinformation.
They're saying you have millions of followers. You shouldn't be giving him wrong information.
And then they like rip him to shreds because he talked to his doctor and he got on Ivermectin and all this other stuff. So CNN literally runs the story. I went and I watched the clip of this lady talking about it. And
with the male doctor and the Asian doctor?
Was it Rachel Maddow?
It was the Asian doctor.
Oh no, she's MSNBC.
Yeah, it was an Asian lady, right?
It was an Asian dude, but then she was just like this basic bitch,
they were both doctors, though.
Basic white bitch kind of thing, and she's like over there asking all these like stupid leading questions that like, as an uneducated white male,
right,
I can tell you that it's like the questions she's asking are just stupid. She's like sitting there and she's like, "Doctor, tell us, how dangerous is it that Joe Rogan is talking to his 13 million followers about horse dewormers?" And the doctor's like, "Oh, well, let me tell you how dangerous horse dewormers are."
Right.
And I'm like, and Joe Rogan, meanwhile, he's over there. He's like, I watched the clip of him kind of like talking about that and the clip of CNN actually doing it. And he's just like, how are they pushing this misinformation? He's like, how do people not see this? He's like, I literally have never said, not to get vaccines kind of thing. And they're calling Ivermectin what's been prescribed for 50 years for humans.
Won a Nobel Peace Prize in 2015.
Yeah. And it's like, and they're calling it horse humor. They're not even calling it Ivermectin. So, they're calling it like
they're just trying to they're just putting out things to get
outrage.
People. What their thing is that, just like Dr. Sebi, I don't know if a lot of people know who Dr. Sebi was, but he was like a natural doctor, and he claimed to have cured a lot of different things naturally, and they killed him. Right? Just like anyone else that, is on the train of telling people that there are natural remedies for many, many different sicknesses and illnesses. Right? But the fact that they are taking just like hydrochloroquine, right? Hydrochloroquine, that's not doing this. They don't want you to do anything that's actually going to make you better, because healthy people don't make money for you.
Yeah.
Right. You make more money off of sick people.
Let me ask a question in regard to Ivermectin and alternative treatments for COVID. Have y'all seen that Pfizer is developing a twice daily pill to help treat COVID and prevent COVID? Have you seen that?
No,
yes.
But I saw that the maker of Ivermectin, who everybody is now coming out being like, oh, well, Merck, the people who make Ivermectin. Yeah,
that's another one that's developing.
They're saying, not to take Ivermectin for COVID. What does that mean if the people who stand to profit off of it are recommending you don't take it? Well, for one, Ivermectin, their patent on Ivermectin went up in 1996.
Yep.
So the generic drugs are cutting their profits.
Right.
So they can't make any money off of it any longer. And they just got approved for not only a dose, like a pill, a vitamin or whatever.
Right, but also they're developing a vaccine too, aren't they?
Yeah. They got approved to develop a vaccine. So that's where their money is going to be made from. So of course they're not
a booster. They're developing a booster. Everyone's developing a booster shot right now for COVID.
You know what's crazy to me, and this kind of goes back to like the division that's happening right now, and it's kind of flip flopped in a weird way, where the right used to be where they were all for like big pharma and big corporation and stuff like that. Right. And the left used to be the ones that they were against the establishment. They were against big pharma. And now we've kind of seen this switch now. Because
both sides are concerned about what pushes their narrative, what pushes their success.
Facts.
The Reds are not looking into our best interest either. They're looking into they're self-interested. We're self-interested.
Facts.
And it's supposed to be that way, just like you're wired to be like, hey, if you're trying to take food off the plates of my children, I will freaking eat you.
Facts.
If it like,
and I get hungry.
That's how it's supposed to be. Same with you, And however, that kind of gets corrupted with some people where you get an elected official that's like, hey, wait a minute. I can make millions of dollars off of a bogus book that I, give to my campaign, for X amount of dollars per book
or
to
which
my
is
legal entity.
They shouldn't be able to do that.
Or maybe how well they handled a pandemic.
Yeah. And then you want to also talk, stimulus checks.
Oh my God.
So here's the thing. It's legal if they do it. It's not legal if we do it. And what I mean by that is the stimulus checks, they have access to that spending power long before we do.
Right.
That they've got that money that they can write a check for whatever amount that they want, that they can go get whatever done, go take whatever vacation, and then at the end of the day, an afterthought is, oh, wait, if we give them a few bucks, then they'll vote for us again and we can keep doing this.
Yep.
Because $1,200 is worth jack shit in 8 years. But you know what's worth a lot of money? The ability to print more.
Right.
Yeah.
And not only to mention that, bro, it blows my mind that people aren't aware that the United States, our currency, is no longer backed by gold.
It's backed by oil, supposed to be.
It's not backed by anything right now. They're literally just
literally what our currency really runs off of right now is our debt into China.
Right.
Like that straight up, China owns the majority of our debt.
Like, I just don't understand how we owe China so much fucking money.
Yeah.
How in the world is the United States in debt to a communist country? That alone right there pops up a red flag.
Some people say we're the United States of China already. So
already. And
everybody better start learning Mandarin. It would behoove you.
I'm getting y'all's podcast canceled now.
Yeah, no, that was super racist.
No, but
that's a real reason you came on here, isn't it? You're like, no more competition.
I gotta cancel the competition.
Get this shit off the
air. Me and my little podcast.
Again, go check out his little podcast. Hypnotic on Apple, Spotify.
You know what I'm saying? They got little cute cups and stuff.
Yeah,
we
got a little cute theme song and
sometimes
stuff.
They even have tea.
Yeah, right.
Pinkies out, boys.
Biscuits and Triscuits. But like we came together and we started talking about all this, man, and it really comes down to respecting your fellow man. And at the end of the day, everyone has the right to their own opinion, just like we have the right to live freely and do the things that we want to do every day, without anyone making us feel bad for making the decisions that we did. Now, I understand health. I understand the fact that there are things that kill people, and I'm not trying to say anybody is not,
but also
eligible
people
to live
die. People just die.
People just die. Yeah. But at the end of the day, all I have to say is this. If someone not wearing a mask or someone not getting a vaccine over a virus that is over 99%, has a 99%, survival rate, and not only that, the fact that the vaccine is not even preventing you from getting or spreading the virus. It just prevents you from having bad symptoms. It's not helping anyone but you. So at the end of the day, regardless if you get the vaccine or not, it's going to harm you. But regardless of what your decision is, You need to respect your neighbor. You need to respect your fellow man. You need to respect your fellow American. Everyone has the right to make their own decisions, regardless of what it is. But if it has to do with health, I understand. I get it. But you should protect yourself and do what you need to make sure that you're healthy. Make sure that you're boosting your immune system. If you choose to take the vaccine and you have some issues and they recommend that you're taking it, you're high risk, then get it. But just because you're suffering and you're scared or you're going through something shouldn't mean that you should drag everybody else along with you like fucking crabs in a barrel. That's not how America works, people. And we need to understand that. Stop being fear-mongered by a bunch of politicians who are all in this together, right, left. I'm not any party. I am neutral. I sit in the middle and I just watch all this shit go down. But I know one thing, as Americans, as adults, when did we start sitting back and letting a small group of people tell us that we're not smart enough, we don't have the intelligence enough to understand how to make the decisions for our own health?
So you're telling me you don't trust the experts?
What experts? Dude, think about this.
Fauci's an expert.
Dude, how many doctors have come out and said things about COVID and they don't show it, right? These people should open their eyes more and understand that a lot of this stuff that's going down has to do with money, okay? These people write a check for millions of vaccines, right? They just wrote the check. We don't know where that money really went. We don't know anything. We sent the money. We sent the money to these vaccine companies, and you got people like Pelosi and things like that who are invested into these companies, and nothing's happening. Is that insider trading or some shit? Like,
oh, it totally is.
Isn't
but
that
it's legal
illegal
if they do it.
Yeah, it's legal. But if we did it,
yeah, man,
we're going to prison for years.
It's legal
for life.
It's legal if the party in power at the time does it. If the party that isn't in power does
even
then they still try to.
Well, okay, so at the end of the day, too, though, like let's say in this case, the Democrats are in power, right? At the end of the day, if the Republicans are doing something shady under the table or whatever, it's in the Democrats' best interest to not mess with everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because the Democrats are also doing something. And the pendulum will swing.
And that's the thing that
they're shaking hands behind closed curtains.
That's the thing that pisses me off about Mitch McConnell is he'll come out there and he'll like talk a big game about, we're going to do this and that. And then I guarantee you behind closed doors, him and Pelosi are just...
Oh, yeah.
Buddy.
Dude, Mark Zuckerberg was like eating dinner with Trump back in the day. And that's because it's in Zuckerberg's best interest to be friends with politicians who are going to make decisions that could affect his pocketbook.
Right. Yeah. Just like he's friends with, like, the fact that what it was, circle back girl, Biden's circle back
Psaki,
girl.
Psaki.
Psaki.
Circle back girl.
Yeah. Miss, Miss Big Comfy
Ain't no
Couch.
circle back girl. Ran out of disk space, so
it wasn't my fault this time.
No, Jarvis was just talking too long.
It was my fault. Me and my little podcast tried to sabotage theirs.
I'm gonna have to get an external hard drive and I'll just hook it up. So, but back to what we were saying about Pelosi and them.
Yeah.
Legal crime.
Yeah, but you got Pelosi who's insider trading. She's doing all this illegal stuff, and like I say, the government is corrupt on too many levels, and so no one's going to call her out on her shit. Like, think about how many of these politicians are doing things like this and nothing ever happens to them because they rub elbows with the right people. Yeah. So, like, this whole pandemic, these politicians kept getting paid. Anthony Fauci gets paid over $500,000 a year. He's the highest paid government official in the country. He makes more than the president.
I thought it was more like 240.
No, it's like 500 something thousand a year, bro.
Not including any kind of endorsements or speaking events or anything like that.
He loves the camera. Fauci loves the camera.
He's getting his limelight now.
Yeah, YouTube, the amount of times that I get suggested videos of YouTubers talking to Anthony Fauci has literally driven me crazy. No. I cannot stand it.
The algorithm, man, selling outrage. Well, it knows what's going to drive you crazy, and you clicked on some of them, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to see what sometimes you got to check out what the competition is doing.
Yeah.
But what do y'all think about that though?
So that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of Americans right now, they're in such an echo chamber.
Oh yeah,
like they refuse to
go
the out. Yeah. It is. That's a lot of it. And anytime that they hear a differing opinion, and that's what is driving a lot of this division between us two, is that you're so stuck in your echo chamber, and you hear this echo chamber saying, okay, like say if you're on the left, you hear, well, Fox News and them, they're all racist and sexist, and there's all this wrong with them, and they want to try to take away your rights. And then on the other side, you're hearing from Fox News that CNN and MSNBC, they're just trying to strip away your rights, and they're fake news and blah blah blah. They're all trying to do the same thing.
True.
Oh yeah,
like they're just trying to get power. So we as American people, we really need to come together in a way and not
and start a podcast because it's decentralized.
Yeah. So that's
conversation,
where,
bro.
Like even if you don't start a podcast, like go out and listen to podcasts. Listen to like a couple different podcasts. Listen to some liberal podcasts. Listen to some conservative podcasts or some that are just like in the middle.
Just Joe Rogan. He's the only good source of information out there.
Joe Rogan is a great source, and I love how he brings on so like differing views on everything.
Oh yeah,
and he's willing to sit down and talk to everybody. And if you can find a podcast that's like that, even if you don't agree with the person 100%, but if they'll bring on somebody that they don't necessarily agree with or that they don't see eye to eye with, but they'll still sit there and have a conversation. That's what you need to be seeing. That's what people need to be seeing nowadays.
Facts.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You have to step out your box, people. Like, I used to be a really, really big Democrat, bro. I was definitely a leftist, right? I was your typical black guy where it was like, oh, fuck the government. They're trying to kill us. They don't want to help our country. They don't want to help our people. They don't want to help the hood. They can clean up the hood. You just sent $35 billion over there to Afghanistan. You telling me you're $35 million to Afghanistan. You telling me you can't put $35 million into the people that have fucking served your country, that have shed blood, that have built shit. We built the White House. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so you can't tell me that you can't do anything for our kids. At least, like, we're sending billions of dollars to other countries, and we can't even fix the problems that we have at home. And I was a big Democrat, man. And I was like, oh man, all kinds of government conspiracies against the black man. But then I started opening my eyes, bro. And this was around like when Trump started getting, into office the first time. And I started realizing like how much propaganda was going through against Trump. They hired rappers. Fuck Donald Trump. We making rap songs.
Man,
like
Eminem.
Yeah, right. Like, oh my God, bro.
I love Eminem, nuts. But that was such bullshit.
I really enjoy Eminem, but I do not enjoy his
political opinions.
Political stuff. Yeah. Like it's funny when it's done tastefully. Like he has some funny things where he's like talking about Mike Pence, and it's just like a real quick jab, and I'm like, yeah, that's funny. I can laugh at that. But like when it's like super political, like his cipher that he did back in, I think it was 2016 or 2017.
That was like the BT cipher.
BT cipher. Yeah. When he did that, I was like, oh my God, really, dude? Like you're gonna come out like the whole time and just rap about how much you hate Donald Trump? Like, really? Like that's what you're gonna waste your time on?
Yeah. And it's just crazy though, because like in my culture, there was so much hate behind Donald Trump, and like the media just went nuts, bro, and they just trampled on this guy in my on my end, right. From what I saw from on the black end, and it was just like, dang, like you're right though, man. He's racist. He has all these racist people coming out, and they got these rebel flags, and I'm just like, that's what I saw. That's what the media fed us. So like I kind of fell for that for a little bit. Yeah. And then I started opening my eyes, and I started going down some rabbit holes, and I started realizing that the Democrats were actually the ones that enslaved us or fought for us to be enslaved, and all of this different stuff. And I started really looking at the research and looking up the facts that the school didn't teach me, and that the people that I was following didn't teach me. I started following someone named Riza Islam. He's a black activist, and he's Muslim, but he's not one of those.
I think I've heard of him before.
Man, he's actually on the top 10 list of people that get that get banned. Like,
really?
Like out of all this pandemic stuff, he's on the top 10 list of like people that are banned. Like I just started following him again on like his 4th page, and now I'm already not seeing him anymore. You know, because he's one of those people that really talk about facts, and he talks about the numbers and the real things that the government has done. It's not speculation. It's not conspiracy. He has real numbers. He talks about real things. And one of the things that he always says is, when did the government ever give a damn about us?
Yeah,
right?
it's literally never ever given a damn.
Ever.
They
and then
give
for black
a
people,
damn
it's like,
about our vote.
Right. They give a damn about our vote. But I was like, damn, black people, y'all getting the vaccine and stuff. Did y'all forget about Tuskegee? They told us that they were just doing shit to help us back then too. And what turned out, dude? Turned out what, like 50 years later, they were still doing the experiments and people were still going through some shit. And it's like, dude, they tried to kill us through that, and they tried to make it seem like they were helping us. Once again, they're back at it. And they're not only trying to kill black people, they're trying to kill everybody. Your skin will not save you now. Like, there is nothing that will prevent them. If you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, it don't matter. You will die if they want you to die. And they are putting out these vaccines, and they're putting out these things that they have not tested, that they have not done anything wrong, because they want to kill the weak. They are implementing survival of the fittest to the fullest. And if you are not one of those people who are able to survive, then you're going to die off. And that's why they want everyone to do certain things, right? And I'm not just saying if you get the vaccine, you're going to die. I'm not saying if you don't get the vaccine, you're going to die. I'm just saying they want to kill us.
Well, it really boils down to, and it's a very basic idea when it comes to like communism, and when it comes to
depopulation.
No, I'm not even saying depopulation, but when it comes to pitting people against each other, I mean, you've seen it in Maoist China, you've seen it in Stalin, like where they'll take a group of people and they'll pit them against each other to try to basically almost depopulize, but to basically drive a wedge between these two groups. That way, one will take over the other, and then they can have their utopia, as it were. Right. And when you're talking about like when you were doing all your research and stuff like that, I truly believe that it's like sunlight is really the best disinfectant, right? And just being able to go outside of your bubble, look at what's happened in the past, because history repeats itself. Facts. If we don't learn from it. It's bound to repeat itself. I'm
glad you said that, because people always miss that part. They always say history always repeats itself, but they missed the part if you don't learn from it. Right. So like, I'm glad you said that, bro, because that's huge. Like, I hate that they always put out half-ass, statements and stuff like that. Because bro. Yeah. But
I mean, but it really is true, and you're seeing it, more and more every day, where we're giving up what we fought for. And America was never perfect from the start. Never. Like, it was never meant to be perfect from the start. What it was meant to be was to do the best it can in order to provide the most rights for the most people that it can.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right. And so, we've always, strove to do better. No matter whether it be, women's rights or ending slavery, Jim Crow, we've always strove to do better than the last generation before us. And when you have these people coming in and now they're labeling people racist in greater numbers than it's ever been. I mean, did we become more racist in the last 60 years? Or, I mean, this is a question, but is America more racist now than it was 60 years ago?
No.
So, but we're seeing it more and more often, where people are getting labeled racist, or you're told that you can't say this because that's racist, or you can't do this because that's sexist. And now we got this whole gender thing where now you can just be, I don't know, homophobic or whatever it is.
I'm very attracted to potatoes.
I love potatoes, so I wanted to become a potato.
Are we talking about like Mrs. Potato?
Yeah,
Mrs. Mr. If it fries well.
So and that's another. I mean, they got rid of the gender pronouns for
right,
and so now it's potato person-ish thing. I don't know what it is anymore. But the point really is that how do we stop this at this point? Because I really don't think that there is much we can do at this point, because we're so divided now. And I think that the only way that we're gonna get back to our core values is that there's gonna be some sort of great reset at some point where everything falls to crap, and it's really worrying for future generations because I don't want that to happen for them. I don't want them to grow up in a world where they have to be worried about every little thing they say.
Right.
And I mean, just even back in the 90s, I mean, you had George Carlin coming out, and he was like this really raunchy guy.
Yeah.
He did the seven words you can't say on TV, and he got arrested for it, but he just didn't care.
Right.
And now we're at the point where if you say, screw the vaccine on social media, you're getting censored.
Oh yeah. I'm almost lost my account. I almost lose my social media account every week. Okay. And I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing. Right. But you are right though, man. And like to think about that with our kids and stuff, man, it's crazy. I remember, my son, Grayson, he was at school and he was just like, I teach my kids how to talk shit. We're playing a game or whatever, and then he's playing a game at school, and he tells some kids like, "Oh, but he's like, you're trash," and he got in trouble for that. And I had to go to the meeting, and they were like, "Oh, your son said he was trash." I was like, "Okay, did he say something bad?" I'm like, did the dude was like, "What's going on?" And right there in front of the meeting, the teacher said, she told me that, and I looked at him. I was like, "Hey, son, you have to understand that everybody that you talk to and play with does not have." The strength that you have. They don't know how to take a joke. Their parents didn't raise them to be able to take certain things.
There are some people that need a safe space.
Yes, right. They have a safety card, and you have to respect that.
Pastel colors over their walls, and a little cushion that they can sit on.
Yeah.
It's because people are bored.
Yeah.
Like if you go back, let's say, prior to the British Revolution, like the first settlers in America, right? They didn't have time to think about whether, anybody was trash at something.
Yeah.
It was, I got to farm this field
so
that way I can eat for next year,
Right.
And I got to go find me a buffalo because my family's hungry and I didn't find one yesterday and they still haven't eaten. It's like, I got to,
get some pelts. I gotta go hunt animals so I can make clothes.
Yeah, exactly. Winter's coming.
Yeah.
Also, the British are coming, so I got to stock up on black powder and things like that.
Things.
So you didn't have time to contemplate whether you should have had a penis or not.
Right.
You're out there plowing fields, and it's like, oh well, I hope this soil is rich. Now
people worrying about plowing each other. It's just like okay.
So, and I might get this quote wrong, but it kind of goes back to that hard times make strong men make good times make weak men.
Exactly.
And it just kind of repeats.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why we're repeating histories, because we don't need, like, at this present rewind 100 years maybe. Mm-hmm. At that present moment, it was like everything's starting to be good again. We can kind of relax and see.
Right after World War II.
Yeah,
right after World War II.
Yeah. 50 years, 60 years, whatever. And so there's like this lull of like, hey, times are good. Like, cool. Yeah. All right. We're chilling.
As good as they were going to get.
And then that's when like the kind of curve goes like this, and it starts headed the other direction. Call me a pessimist about this, but I legitimately think that like World War III or Civil War is the Great Reset that's coming.
True. But you got to think about the Great Reset too, bro. Think about some of the most, the most famous civilizations in history. They all came to an end, right? They were strong for
all of them.
400, 500, 600 years, bro. And then what happened, right? So we have to understand that like that stuff is not gone. Like there is no way that we can sit here as American and be like, we're going to be here forever. Like you never know what's going to happen. And like we're looking at these times now, like you think about the Romans, bro, when they killed Caesar, right? It was all this uprising. And so the politicians went and got blood, right? They killed Caesar with their own hands. Now these politicians are so sneaky. They're still getting blood on their hands, but they're using other people. Yeah. So what do y'all guys think about the simple fact that the United States is where it is right now, and we're going downhill? What do you think the odds are that we end up like a Rome or a Sparta or or something like that?
I think that's the exact direction it's going, and I think that unlike history, so for example, right, like the American revolution, they got in boats and they sailed to a new land, you know. I mean, there were people there, but in general, like, it was not like a part of civilized society.
It wasn't developed yet.
Right.
So they just went and found a new like, okay, let's settle here. You know? Like, you can't do that now. Like, there's people all over the planet. There are no new lands.
Right.
And then, like, even if you did find one and you're like, hey, look, like, all of Texas is, you know, packing up and we're sailing over here to this 8th continent, you know, and we're going to set up shop here, and F you, America, we're not a part of you anymore.
You couldn't do that.
Joe Biden or whatever puppet is in office at the time could be like, all right, well, we're just going to drop a nuke on you because we don't have to go and fight this over there anymore. The technology is such that, like, there's no real resistance. Like, if they want control over you, like, if the military wants control over you, they'll get their control.
True.
And so, like, I mean, the average person doesn't have an M1 Abrams to defend themselves anymore.
Maybe Mars will be the next continent.
Facts, though.
The next frontier, I should say. Not the next
I do feel like that, bro.
Our Lord and Savior Elon Musk.
I know,
Just
right?
kidding.
I heard somebody talking today. They were like, "Oh, Elon Musk is trash." I'm like,
Are you a hater? Like, what? But bro, like, for real though, like we're at that point now where our politicians are so corrupt that I feel and I fear that we're going to end up like a Rome. Because when you are no longer working for the people, you're working for yourself. And those people are doing things behind closed doors that we know nothing about.
Dude, we're so sold to China. China's about ready to take over. They're like, China, like, that's what they've been doing over there. Okay, so think about pre-COVID. The biggest news headline was Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Hong Kong. And now you got
Taiwan.
Yeah, now it's Taiwan.
Yeah.
China is ready to just be like, hey, F the rest of the world, we're what's it now.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
And we're so tied into China, it's coming.
And not to mention, China just fucking shook hands with the Taliban right now, who just got billions worth of military equipment from us. And now they're shaking hands. And why? What happened? Oh, you know what happened? In isn't Afghanistan the richest source of lithium in the world? And what did Joe Biden say that he's going to do to America when he got into office? He was going to make everything electric. What do you need to make electric cars and electric batteries? Lithium. Now, I'm just saying, if at the end of the day, China's making strides to be best buds with the highest source of lithium in the world, and Joe Biden is already a fucking crony for China, what do you think is about to happen? China's going to get the lithium. He's going to force people to make these fucking batteries for these cars or whatever may happen, and then that's how we're going to go. But at the end of the day, China has already made best friends with one of the biggest terrorist groups in the fucking world. What is that going to create, bro?
Well, I mean, at this point, I'm kind of on the side of one world order kind of coming and happening.
Hey, so if that's the case, like, I got y'all's votes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
absolutely.
We're only two people, so good luck. But
well,
I'm just trying to be in control of the army. That's all I need. I just need the army.
You know, you're not wrong. The president's not really in charge. If the president were like, all right, military, go get everybody vaccinated, those guys could just be like, no, thanks.
Yeah,
I'll pass. And he's then rendered powerless.
Yeah. And then that's what the thing is with the whole thing with the us going against one another. It's like, okay, let's just say shit got real, and they're the unvaccinated people in the streets, and then they're the opposition. Who's going to be that opposition? Who's going to be standing across from me when I step on that field, bro? Who's going to stand up? Is it going to be the police? Are the police going to sit there and say, I'm going to go against my people, my fellow man, because the president said that everyone has to be vaccinated? Y'all are out past 9:00. Y'all can't be out. Like
Jarvis, it's not who's going to be standing on the other side. It's what's going to be standing on the other side, because you're assuming they're species.
Oh.
Lizard people.
Please don't get me started.
We'll save it for another time.
They, them.
Watch the eyes.
Zuckerberg.
All of them. The reptilians are real, bro. Dude, like I know it's gonna be funny. We're being silly though, but like, what would you do?
Seriously,
like, dude, like seriously, like, what would we do if we woke up one day? We wake up tomorrow, and they're just like the reptilians have exposed themselves, and there are these fucking 9-foot reptilian lizards walking the earth saying that y'all are our people now. We've been here forever, and we've just been waiting. Like, how would you even?
I'm looking for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at that point.
I mean, I've watched The Walking Dead. I've seen Daryl Dixon eat some reptiles. I'm thinking I'm cooking.
Oh man,
I don't want to eat that though.
Yeah.
Why? Tastes like chicken.
He's just gonna throw some of that hot sauce on it. He can't taste it. He just put that hot sauce on. All he tastes is hot sauce.
We'll get that Scottish bonnet out.
All he tastes
I'm not
is
touching none of that.
pain.
I'm not touching none of that Scottish bonnet and that little grenade.
I'm gonna get you to eat
nothing hot.
No, I'm gonna get you to eat a Carolina Reaper.
I'm not eating that shit.
I'm gonna get you to do it.
That's not happening. I'm letting y'all know that right
together.
now. I'd be pissed. That shit. You only gotta wait. I feel like it hurt.
You hadn't even tried it yet.
It's logical to assume that the Carolina Reaper would hurt.
It's called a Reaper. Reap what? My soul, right, my esophagus?
How about a ghost pepper?
Your anus.
Aha.
That's what it's gonna
Look, we'll plan for our 100th episode, which means you got some time to prepare. So don't worry about it. Our 100th episode.
100th episode.
Yeah, well.
How many are you guys on?
This will be number 8, I believe.
Yeah, happy 8th episode.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We've been working hard.
Took a little hiatus.
Can I be on episode 69?
Yes.
Yes. We'll bring you back for 69.
We'll bring you back for 69.
Just for the joke.
Just invited myself to episode 69.
Episode 67 is my favorite. I like 67.
Why?
I don't know, because I don't like saying 69.
Oh, so like there's literally nothing to that story. It was just I like that number. Okay,
I was so sold on that story.
I was like, man, I'm gonna get what's up? But no, okay,
nope. It's a solid number.
It's just it's a great prime number, real strong.
I like it.
I like 10.
You like 10?
10's a good prime number.
I like 10. I just really like saying 7. It's funny.
Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get you to go eat a ghost pepper.
We're
gonna wrap this one up. Luke, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your thoughts. Again, go check him out at Sipnotic Podcast. He's on Apple Music and Spotify.
Apple Podcasts. And
they talk about
Apple Podcast. My bad.
Apple Podcast.
I didn't. So the two are different. Apple Music and Apple Podcasts.
It's two different apps, but I mean, Apple is Apple.
Okay,
yeah,
so he's on Apple and Spotify.
I'm on Apple and Spotify.
Unless you have an Android, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They can find you on Android somewhere.
If you have an Android, you're probably more concerned about your gender anyway.
Shots fired. I know some people that are just like they're so in love with Android, and I'm like, I don't get it. That's true. I tried,
and you can always tell who has an Android phone by the pictures that they post. They look like
the pronouns on their profile.
Right. That and the freaking whenever you get in a group chat with them, it's like
green bubbles.
Yeah, green bubbles. Like
if you hit me up and you have green bubbles, I'm probably not talking to you.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you Apple's secret to success right now. This is legitimate, and they know it. They've admitted it. I'm pretty sure there's like articles that I can't remember the exact source that my source heard it from, but my reliable source marketing boss or whatever said basically that Apple will not have like iMessage on Android and anything like that. They will not incorporate, like they could if they wanted, join forces with Android and be like, hey, like let's have this joint code, and you know you can get read receipts and have blue bubbles and this, that, and the other. They won't do it because of that exact comment that you made of like, if you get in a group chat and it's green, you're like, man, who the hell is the poor bitch in here?
Right.
You know? and,
who got the Walmart phone?
There's exactly.
Who's got the Obama phone right now?
So there's this elitist mindset behind the blue bubble. It's this branding thing. It's a marketing thing.
It's brilliant.
But they did change it to where now you can FaceTime people on Android. That's the only. Yeah, you can only.
But FaceTime's not as big of a deal as the iMessage bubble. The blue bubble.
That is true, because you know what, man?
It's an icon.
Let's quick thing real quick.
Okay, then we'll end.
Then we'll end.
Black people.
It's already episode 69.
My people. Hey, listen, my black people, they love to FaceTime.
We should.
Like they don't even just text me, bro. Just call me, but they FaceTime all the time. Like,
I'm sorry, it's not just that I FaceTime. Like I FaceTime lots of people.
Really?
Dude,
people
I
FaceTime. You gotta let me know you about the FaceTime me, bro. I have to get prepared for that.
I gotta put my makeup on, you know.
No, I'll just FaceTime people. Like, especially like if they're my good friends and stuff like that. I just FaceTime them. I'm like, yeah, we'll just talk to each other. I hate text messaging.
Really? I literally see the disgust like just wrapping around his face right now.
That's fine. I'm gonna FaceTime him later, but like text messages are so like. To me, it's like such an outdated technology. Like
your mom's outdated.
How did we go from sending letters, writing on pieces of paper and sending letters?
Pigeons. I like the pigeons.
Okay, we'll start with pigeons. Then we did USPS, and then we went to we're able to
email.
We're able to.
Whoa.
Okay, email. Then
I'm just talking about written forms. I thought that's
what about the Pony Express?
Then we're able to call people. Okay. And at first you had a house phone, so it was kind of relegated. You had to be in your home in order to answer the phone. But we could talk to each other. We could, in real time, talk to each other. And then now we got these cell phones, and now we can go anywhere, and we can talk to anywhere at any time. And then we go back to freaking texting. Like, that makes zero sense to me.
Because sometimes it's just easier for me to text. I got my Apple Watch. I might be filming or cutting hair or something. I'm just like, oh, hey, yo, Ghost. Hey, I'm going to be there a little late, 20 minutes.
How many times have I sent you a text message and then called you right after?
Yeah, because I don't answer them that fast.
No, it's not it's not even about like how fast you answer. I hate trying to get information across in a text message form.
Devin, you sound like a boomer.
And I'm but honestly, he does that to me because I'm terrible at answering text messages.
I'm a millennial.
Let me guess. You don't understand TikTok, do you?
I don't do TikTok. I don't do TikTok.
I'm trying to learn it right now for the podcast because we set up the channel and everything, and I'm trying to learn.
I'm not a dancer.
Your relevance is over if you don't understand TikTok. And there's way more content than just dancing on TikTok. TikTok is true. That's fascinating. Man, and this is why I love Gen Z. And then we'll end. Gen Z is amazing because seriously, they took like TikTok was music and like child porn and like weird shit for a while. And they've kind of like gotten on there and made it something cool. Like you can find anything on TikTok.
I still don't. I guess I don't know it that well enough.
Well, I need to look up this child porn thing on TikTok because that was terrible. That was a bad thing. That's why Trump was trying to get it out because it was so crazy.
I thought that had to do with them selling to China.
It did have something to do with them.
I think it started in China.
Oh, did it?
It's a China app. It's an app that's controlled in China, but Trump didn't want it because he felt like it was
violated the privacy.
Yeah, privacy code. So everyone that has a TikTok is like you're exposing yourself because all the information that you're sending is not you. It's not from our country. It's to China.
Oh, really?
So think about that algorithm. It's learning. Like,
we're making the Chinese smarter.
We're making the Chinese smarter, bro. They're learning about what we like to watch, what we like to buy. Yeah, what we're scared of, what bothers us. Like all this, they're learning that.
And getting rich in the process.
Yes, you were right. I have no idea how TikTok works.
Yeah,
TikTok's awesome.
It's all right.
I'll have you come over and you'll just show me how it works, and we can kind of go.
Get your dance moves ready.
Yeah, get ready, shake your booty, put some spandex on.
Yeah. But again, everybody, thank you for joining in.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Again, leave a like, share, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Rate their podcasts on Apple Podcasts. Wait, are you guys on Apple?
No, so
that's bougie.
We're gonna be here all night if we don't stop. But we're working with
we're on
Micah,
Android status.
Micah to try to get that up and running. So, but we will be on Apple Podcast and Spotify soon.
Yeah, get that engagement. Engage with them.
Hey, like and share, people. Like and share.
Subscribe. Notification bell.
Go check out Luke and
Twitter.
Micah.